In this video, we're going to talk about the best personal transportation we've had since we've been living aboard a boat. From land-based adventure days to emergency trips to the marine store, these e-scooters have been reliable, convenient, and extremely fun. And now we have a new one added to the fleet, the Hiboy S2 Max. Stay tuned for a full honest review and how you can get your hands on them.
I'm Cindy, and this is Shell. We sold everything and set off on an adventure, living and cruising on a boat named C-Shel. Click subscribe and sit back as we show you that it's possible for all of us to live an extraordinary life. If you remember, we had two scooters. Sheldon had the Hiboy S2 Pro, and I had another brand. The Hiboy, far superior, than the one that I had. We had like a light drizzle. We were both out with our scooters. Mine did not wake up the next morning.
No, gone. I sold it for parts. So we've had the S2 Pro though for over a year now. Its reliability, its quality construction is what led us to reach out to Hiboy and ask them if they wanted to partner with us, which resulted in this Hiboy S2 Pro landing on the boat. Now, don't worry, this is an honest review. This is what we really think about the scooter.
Yeah.
But we would not have reached out to them if it wasn't something we wanted to recommend anyway. So let me run through the specifications really quick because I really want to get to why this is good for liveaboard and cruisers. So it's a 500 watt motor, battery capacity is 48 volts and 11.6 amp hours with a 6-hour fast charge. The range is 40 miles or 65 kilometers, max speed 19 miles per hour or 30.5 kilometers an hour. Air-filled 10-inch tires, weight is 41.5 pounds, which is about 30.5 kilograms. Size unfolded is 44 by 19 by 48 inches. Size folded is 44 by 19 by 20, almost 21 inches. It has a max capacity, weight capacity of 220 pounds, which I am almost at that level.
So we're going to go over some features of the scooter. Number one, performance. How well does the scooter perform in speed, acceleration, and handling?
So as I said, speed is 19 miles an hour. It has that 48 volt system. Most scooters at this price range are 36 volt. So we're going to get a little bit more acceleration. The handling of the scooter, so this one seems to have more of an upright angle, and that seems to translate a little better into turning and handling. It has 3 modes for the speed. So one is Eco, one Standard, one is Sport. Sport is, of course, lets you go 19 miles an hour. The other 2 will limit the range of speed, so you can get used to it before you want to go that 19 miles an hour. And I think it probably also limits the acceleration a little bit as well. So range. So how far can the scooter go, and how long does it take to charge? So we got 40 miles. You're not, in real world circumstances, you're not going to get 40 miles. And it only takes 6 hours to charge.
Let's talk about safety features.
So the scooter has a dual braking system, e-brake and a drum brake. They're both together on the one lever. It has regenerative braking, so when you do pull the brake in, it puts some extra power back into the battery. There are lights on the front, nice headlight, and a brake light on the back. There is a seat if you want it. If you feel more secure with a seat or occasionally want a seat, you can buy a seat for it.
Ease of use. It is super easy to use.
Yeah. The screen on the Max is big. You can see what you're doing. It's just like one click or double click, that kind of thing, to change the modes as you're going. It has cruise control, so you can even push down on the accelerator, leave it there for a few seconds, it'll beep twice, and once it beeps twice, you can let go of the accelerator and don't have to keep your thumb on it. And as soon as you touch a brake or the throttle again, you're good to go. It disengages the cruise control and you're good.
Yep. Everything's
really easy. And if you wanted to have an extra display, you can mount the phone on the scooter and have the app running as well, which gives you all kinds of things, and you can change the modes and everything on the app as well. So
yeah, they have a thing to put the phone in. It's an extra accessory, I guess, to attach to the bike.
There is a handlebar attachment that you can buy from Hiboy to attach to the phone.
So why are these great for cruisers and liveaboards?
So the first thing, of course, is that it's lightweight. It's easily folded down. It's fairly small, a lot smaller actually than like a fold-up bike, either electric bike or a normal bike. So light, 40 pounds or whatever. I don't notice any difference between this one and the Pro. With the Pro is a little lighter. And so it's easy to store. We store it up on the fly bridge. We can store it inside when we go away.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
It's water resistant.
So it's an IPX4, so it's protection from splashing water from any direction. So caught out in a, you're cruising around and you're caught out in a downpour, don't worry too much about it.
Okay.
Yeah. The serviceability. Hiboy has all the parts listed on their website for every part of the scooter. If something breaks, you just order it up, fix the scooter yourself, and off you go. The last scooter we had that broke, forget about getting parts. I couldn't find any parts.
We sold it for parts. As we ride the scooter, there are a few things that stick out to us that we love. One thing is its smooth ride and acceleration. It's fast but not too fast and feels safe to ride. The cruise control feature really comes in handy for longer rides. The other thing that is convenient is you can actually lock the scooter wheels with the Hiboy app. There are a couple of things we think one needs to be concerned about if you own one of these scooters. The handlebar Allen key screws have a tendency to come loose, which we've only experienced once in the year we've had the S2 Pro. The S2 Max has more screws holding the handlebars in, so maybe it won't be an issue. Advice is to put some Loctite on it anyway, just in case. Secondly, being near the saltwater air, the stem latch connector can get a little rusty, so the advice is to keep some grease on it. These are minor issues though, and can easily be addressed with a little maintenance. This is Sheldon looking for his drone.
I don't know if it's in the tree or...
Where did you fly it?
I flew it sideways over here and I didn't see that tree. I thought it was over the water.
I think it's in here. It hit the tree and it popped in there. I just don't know who is brave enough to go in and get it. I'm trying. Here, show it. How is it?
Oh, we got some damage to some props, but otherwise I'd say it's good.
Okay. Every time I hear it's drone flying time, I'm like, ooh. We could have like a whole episode of like drones in the water, drones in the tree. So we're going to compare the two e-scooters, the Max and the Pro.
So if you're wondering why we're in a weird place, because we pulled out of the park into a shaded area to get away from the Florida sun for a few minutes so we don't die while we're talking to you. There could be snakes and gators, so if you see us running, that means something came out of the bush at us. So the two scooters are different, and the biggest difference is the ride quality, and the reason is because the Max has air-filled tires and this has solid tires.
We're going to do a smoothness test. We're going to compare both machines to see which one is smoother, air tires versus solid tires.
Hypersmooth is turned off of the GoPro, so there's no stabilization on the GoPro whatsoever. Okay, I was holding the GoPro in my teeth. So whatever you felt then is exactly what your teeth are going to feel like chattering when they're hitting the bumps. Even though this one has a rear suspension, it never makes up for feeling the road and the bumps in the road with the hard tires. This one, no suspension, just air-filled tires, and it's noticeably smoother. The issue though, and the pro of this, in my opinion, is that the hard tires, you're never going to need a pump.
You're not going to puncture
You're not going to puncture it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on a boat, if you're traveling through the Bahamas and you've got one, your tires are low maintenance. Whereas with this one here, if I'm over in the Bahamas and we puncture a tire, they're sort of semi-self-healing. But if you really ruin it, then you're going to need a new tire. The only way to really do that if you're over in the Bahamas, I guess, is to bring spare tires. So the other negative though about the hard tires is that it will catch an edge a lot worse than the air tires. So if you're riding the road and there's a crack in the road, it will jut the scooter a little bit. Not in a dangerous way, but it's just something you notice and something you don't notice when you have air-filled tires.
But not a big deal.
The Max, of course, has a longer range. There's just a larger battery bank in here, and even less clearance from the ground because of that battery pack, in my opinion. It has a larger display, which I think is probably a little better than the display on the Pro. They both have an e-brake and a disc brake with the caliper. The difference though is that the Max, both of those engage with one lever. On the Pro, they're separate levers. One is looks like a throttle button for the e-brake, and then where the throttle is, there's another brake on top. Not a big deal, but if you're getting used to one or the other and you swap to the other one, you might try to use the e-brake on the Max and you're kind of missing it, and you got to think twice and use the other one. I sort of prefer the double brake because I use the e-brake a lot more than I use the thing, because the e-brake will just slow you down, not bring you to a stop. It's great for going around turns and stuff. Yeah. But really there's not a huge big difference. They both have the same brakes. One has two controls, the other one has a single control. And the other thing is the stem angle on the Max is more upright. That seems to provide a little bit better handling. I don't know if you would notice a difference if you didn't have both scooters, but this one does feel notably, and for me as a big guy, it noticeably feels like I have more room on the deck than I do on the Pro.
Of course, the deck on the Max is bigger, wider, and longer, so kind of better for bigger guys.
I like it.
But
too.
I had this one for a year, and really, I had no issue until I drove this one, and it felt a bit bigger, a bit more room for me. And of course, this has more power. Like I said before, this is a 48 volt motor, and this one is a 36 volt motor. Both are 500 watt. The Max will give you a little bit more acceleration, it seems. So the cost difference between the two. This one is MSRP around $810. This one is $690 MSRP. Of course, you can get both of these on sale. You can also get a little bit of extra off, 6% if you use searching for C-Shels as a discount code and our affiliate link below. The trade-off between the two, I mean, you really got to weigh, you know, the ride quality of this one compared to that one. And if having solid tires is of more benefit than having the room and the pickup acceleration on this one and the smooth ride. To me, there's pros for this one, including its smaller size, slightly lighter than this one. So it's really, I mean, both really good scooters. Both would be more than satisfactory aboard a boat. You just have to weigh which pros and which cons you want to sacrifice.
Yeah.
We had to move locations. In the park where we were was desperately hot, no breeze, we were baking. So we came over to this park where there's a roof cover over a picnic table. It's actually the place we started this video, so it's probably a fitting ending that we come here. So, as you probably have guessed, we highly recommend these scooters.
We do.
They're very convenient, reliable, as we've known because we've had the Pro for over a year now.
Yep.
And we've had the Max long enough to know that it's going to follow in the same trend. Beautiful scooters, no matter which way you slice it. You've got to decide if the Max is worth the extra price. But the smoother ride and the air tires of the and the larger deck of the Max, I think both of us would probably choose the Max over the Pro at this point.
It is definitely smoother ride, and it feels. Because it's bigger, it feels more
stable.
sturdy.
I think it's a nicer ride overall. So if you don't need the range and a solid tire is important to you, then the Hiboy S2 Pro is an exceptional scooter.
Yes, and if you are interested in either one of those products, make sure to check out our affiliate link below and use the code SFCS for an extra discount on anything on their site and the prices that they have listed. And we also want to say a huge thank you to Hiboy for partnering with us and allowing us to give an honest review of your products.
It is an awesome addition to the fleet. We're going to have a ton of fun wherever we cruise using that scooter. So that's it for this episode. We'll see you in the next one, and hopefully we'll be on the water.
Yay!
And long may your big jib draw.
Bye.
Cheers.
S2 Pro. And this is the S2 Max. I mean, it's rough. Safety features. I thought you were going to say what they were.